Our first presenter is Terrence Parker. Terrence has been a landscape architect and landscape artist for 28 years and is the principal of Terra Firma Landscape Architecture of Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I can't pronounce architecture, but I can pronounce Pechakucha. Terrence has his master's of landscape architecture and has traveled to Japan to study temple gardens. After completing his thesis on the use of abstract stone landscapes to articulate human and environmental patterns in the New England landscape, Terrence organized several stone occurrences to apply his thesis ideas to building dry stone landscapes with groups of friends. Terra Firma Landscape Architecture primarily designs spaces for people in residential, urban, commercial developments, schools, and playgrounds. Upcoming projects include the renovation of the streetscape in front of the music hall, 3S Art Space, and a nature playground at the Children's Museum at the Henry Law Park in Dover. So with that, let's welcome Terrence Parker.
All right. So I can execute the slides by talking too, right? To Celeste. Celeste, can we do it that way too? All right, let's go. Oh, when I was designing the landscape for the Cornerstone School, I witnessed some very intense nature play. Right under this very tree, kids, these girls were forming birds' nests out of grass clippings and then having big debates as whether to put worms in the nest or leave the worms in the soil. It was really eye-opening. Now, nature play takes a lot of forms. Leaf catching at the Central School, but nature play has very clear benefits. It increases cognitive abilities. It increases sensory stimulation. It increases learning and creativity. Henry David Thoreau credited his own language skills to nature observation. Now, my observation at the Central School playground here drove me to create a vision of nature play at this campus. And I presented that vision to Vicki Stewart, and that's called the Rewilding of the Central School campus. And it looks like this. So that plan, we remove all the thorny, the dense, invasive species in the red zones around the perimeter of the campus. We convert athletic fields to meadows, shown in yellow. We convert parts of the forest and parts of playgrounds, paved areas, to intense nature zones. You can see the drainage patterns in blue there. Now, the Central School has a stellar reputation for quality, and the landscape has a lot of great assets, but the campus was walled in by dense, thorny plant materials that you couldn't penetrate. It also had piles of debris scattered around, tires, pipes, concrete. And so to do a plan like this, you need a really great team. Vicki Stewart, the principal. Kate Smith, the music teacher. Nita Duran, the principal. And Kathy Gunst, a local food author, traveled to the White House to visit Michelle Obama, and she was so inspired by the food initiative, she came back to South Berwick, Central School, and wanted to create a hoop house. So Kathy Gunst created the hoop house, and with Kate Smith, they created a program where kids grow, document, and even eat their own food. We have raspberries, blueberries, peaches, and table grapes abutting the hoop house. So to do that meadow, to create that meadow, it takes a lot of grunt work, but that was done by teachers, administrators, faculty, school board members. The reputation at Central School was so stellar that whenever I asked anybody in the community for materials or service, they readily donated it. Nobody ever said no to me in this plan. So we had a community work day. There were over 80 people putting 200 trees and shrubs in the ground. Salmon Falls Nursery donated trees. Pearson Nursery donated trees, and the PTO raised money. The excellent PTO in Central School raised the rest of the money for the plant materials. So Salmon Falls cleared that meadow. That meadow looks like this today with lupins, daisies, black-eyed Susans. It's a really diverse landscape. There's native, it's a botanical garden too, everything from sumac to sassafras. And someday Kate Smith is going to have all those trees labeled with QR codes. So it becomes a botanical garden that you actually can identify the trees on. That diverse landscape, my wife and I cut paths through that meadow every year to create an inside-out landscape experience for the kids to enjoy. Teachers take their kids on story walks on those paths. They take their kids on seed studies on those paths. They take their kids on leaf studies on those paths. So we also did really big construction out there. Bill Raynaud excavated out all the drainage pipes to make visible the drainage patterns on the site to kids. So we could also treat the stormwater coming off, treat and filter the stormwater. We had excellent stonemasons setting all those stones. We also had other play elements. We had a figure eight stone infinity walk where the kids can practice their footwork. And the Avery Wakefield family installed that. There's a log walk where kids can balance. There's also a twisted birch corridor that right now it's little saplings, but it's going to look like this in the near future. So when I traveled to Japan, I went to the Silver Pavilion, and I saw this truncated cone of gravel. I was so inspired by that, I built one at my house. And then I watched my toddler daughter scramble up this slope, get to the top like a champion. It was really inspiring. It fostered self-confidence in her. And ever since then, I wanted to do earthwork at the Central School. So Bill Raynaud ripped out pavement. Bill Raynaud brought in soil. And Steve Prisby and Chuck Hugo formed that soil. It was earthwork jazz for me. It was improvisational. I was waving my arms around, and the machines were forming the soil into these crazy climbing mounds. And it's really inspiring to play on. It looks like this. It has a mountain type of form. It goes up and down. It's wide and narrow, and it's really challenging to run on. It's an activator. I go there and I chase girls around, and my daughter's friends chase me around. It's really, really stimulating. Part of this earthwork, it also includes that truncated cone that I saw in Japan. You could see how the kids have to run up that. They have to cooperate. They have to hold each other. They have to balance on the top of that. Educator Lee Robinson has credited these earth mounds with bringing the kids into school in a happier, better place. It's amazing for a designer to hear that. We also have other things out there. We have big wooden slabs in the fields and forests. Those slabs serve as workstations workstations for writing projects and science projects. Those slabs were cut by my nephew Wesley from trees that were donated by Urban Tree Service. You also can play on those logs, and you also can watch them decompose in the forest. Now, Kate Smith and I have also designed a junkyard sound garden. It's not built yet, but it's going to be located right here where Site Structures built a little amphitheater from material donated by Jeunesse Concrete. What the Central School has right now, though, is a very simple GPS post. So in the spirit of Henry David Thoreau, kids can put their camera at designated angles on that post and upload those photographs to an app in which they can observe the landscape changes that take place on this campus. So this whole rewilding experiment has now evolved into a real outdoor classroom. That's it.